What's up? How y'all doing? We back with the Workman podcast. Got your boy Elgin Woodside here.
Yes, sir. You got Christian Marshall on the line too. You already know how we are, how we coming. About to drop some more gems and get back into this growth
Yep.
that we are manifesting. You feel what I'm saying?
Real
So that's
deal,
what this
real
episode
deal.
is about. It's gonna be about growth. We talk about growth in the mindset. How to grow within your mindset, within setting that mind shift and the steps to do that. Now, and then we went on to speak on how to grow professionally in the workplace, how to take those steps. And now we're gonna go ahead and just hop back on to how to grow your money. So we get into the financial aspect. People don't realize like it's a method to the madness, right? So you got to, before you can do anything, you have to make sure you good personally, with yourself, your
Exactly.
mindset. That's where everything starts with, because anything material you will never be able to maintain unless you have the mindset for it. So
Exactly, bro.
saying that, this is the next step into growing, as an individual and in the society. You feel me?
Yep. If y'all never heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's something I've been studying for a while. It's like a psychology method, and basically it talks about how you move through the stages of life. You start off just worried about shelter, food, water, air, just basic needs, which is, getting your mind right to where you can, give yourself those basic needs. And then you work towards, security, employment, having consistent income, which was the phase two, which we talked about actually, how to get in the door, how to interview properly, how to, get yourself a job. That way you can secure yourself. And then once you're in a secure state, now you move on to, relationship building and, building, up on respect and wealth and all of that, and your health and stuff like that, because it's hard for people to think about wealth and health and relationships when your money bad or when your mindset bad, because everything else that you touch is going to be contaminated. So that's why we started off like that, as Christian said. So now we're going to get into 10 ways on how to grow your money. So last week we talked about interviewing, how to get indoor and get some money. Now we're going to talk about how you can maximize that and, expound on it and exponentially grow it. So I'm gonna let Christian start off with the first one.
Yeah, man. So like you're saying, this is the like this it's different steps and different ways to go ahead about growing your money. There's so many ways to make money, but
You
the
sound
most
a
important
little
thing.
a little staticky, a little staticky,
Can you hear
just
me
a little
now?
bit. No, it's you sound good. I'm just saying I don't know if it's that wire or it's just like a
Uh,
tad staticky.
what about now?
Perfect. That's perfect. Yep.
Okay, I think I know what's going on. All right, cool. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's technology, bro.
Right.
But yeah, the first thing is like you said, like once you get into the workplace and you start getting that steady stream of income, now you don't want to. Your goal is to make 7 streams of income. Is what they say an average millionaire makes, right? But you want to be able to feed off that primary income that you're getting from, whether it be from your job or what you're doing on a daily basis. So now, when you're getting this income, I feel like the very first thing, and one of the most important things to do is you need to have a budget, right? Being able to know how to budget your money is going to be the biggest thing, because you can start trying to make investments and all this other stuff, when you get a little bit of money, but until you really calculate down all the way to the T, like your expenses and everything that you need to live on a day to day, and then use that extra to make those investments. You may be making too much an investment. You may not be able to um, you know satisfy your basic needs, right, to for you live, like your rent, electric bill, car insurance, all that good stuff. That has to get done. So, I feel like when people get a little bit of extra money, they forget that, yeah, you need to have that personalized budget. And once you create that budget, just stick to the plan. Like, just know that, okay, you did enough homework on what you got and what you're making to actually um, make that budget, and for it to act for it to see your money actually grow and work for you. And I
Hmm.
honestly, until I started actually having a budget, I made a personalized budget sheet. And as soon as I did that, it was like, whoa, now I can really see how much money I can really save. Like, for example, I was spending, let's say, like $185 on a storage unit. And I didn't realize that once I went into my budget sheet, I went in there and I saw that. But then I went in there when I realized what was all in my storage unit. I was like, well, I can put this in my garage. So when I was able to do that and cancel that storage unit, that's one less expense. Now I'm $150 or $185 up because now I got rid of that expense. It was unnecessary expensive. So people don't, you have to realize that when you actually like write it out, just like it goes, you're writing out is visualizing what you need to do. So with your budget, it's the same way. You can see what where you're spending too much of your extra money at, or what's really not necessary. Allows you to prioritize different things. And that's the main purpose of a budget, is for you to prioritize your money, because you may think like, okay, a Netflix subscription here, Hulu subscription here, app subscription here. Like, it's not a lot of money. Yeah, it's not a lot of money at first, but when you got so many of them, and when we go through these apps and all these different things we use on a daily basis, and we set it and forget it, and all that stuff can add up, right?
Yeah,
All that stuff can really add up.
$10 a month on 10 different subscriptions you don't need. That's right there, $100 that you losing every month. You feel me? That can be
Exactly.
going towards, investing, or it can be going towards you, actually enjoying it, doing something else, with it.
Right.
Or,
Saving for a
yeah.
vacation, whatever. Like $100 a month for 12 months. What's that? $1,200. That's a vacation right there.
hmm
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying?
Every year you can go
Definitely
on a
is. Every
vacation
year.
just off of canceling some subscriptions that you don't need. But yeah, they got a couple good apps that I use for setting my budget, which is Mint, which pretty much itemizes all of your expenses, and it can also show you your income, and then you can categorize all your expenses as well, and like set a limit to where you want to get notified if you start getting close to that limit. So that's the mint.com app. And then also Truebill, which helps
Oh yeah, I
show
was about
you
to say
like
that one
every
too.
single subscription that you got. And I like those too.
Yeah, I like Truebill. I like Truebill for sure, just because one thing that Truebill does, I had Mint for a second, but I realized like the reaction time as far as when money hits my account and when stuff goes away and the budget and stuff like that, Mint would kind of lag a little bit because it was coming mainly through the email space, um, and sometimes through the notification space. But it was still lag as far as notifications. But I kind of like I lean more towards Truebill just because not only are you able to itemize those things, um, but you're able to actually not take that budget that you have and then connect your bank account to Truebill. And then sometimes with Truebill, what it'll do is it'll scan, like you'll go through all your recent transactions for the past month. And then once it does that, it'll if you have a recurring payment, like you pay a certain amount for your rent every month or for a certain bill every month, it'll automatically itemize that. Right. And then
Mm-hmm.
what also something that Truebill does is that based on your spending habits, they have what they call smart savings. So you can connect several different bank accounts. So then you can
Mm-hmm.
see, okay, this is how much I have all together, and this is how much I'm spending all together from these different accounts. But with Truebill, with the smart savings, what it'll do is based on your spending habits and based on how much you actually spend, um, investment, like you can set a recurring investment like $5, $10, whatever. Well, what Truebill does is that it analyzes it bases an algorithm that basically scans and analyzes your spending habits, and then it'll still save you money, but if it won't try to pull out too much money based on how you've been spending for that month. So if it was $5 one month or 1 week, it may be $2 based on your spending habits. So you're still able to save money, but based on your spending habits, it may be more or less. So the more consistent you are with your spending habits, the more consistent you're gonna be. You will be with your savings, with that smart savings, as a part of
Yep.
Truebill too. So it's definitely a handy app to use, and then I recommend it for anybody.
The thing I like about Truebill and Mint, well, the thing I like about Mint specifically is because it shows you like your overall net worth too, and you can like attach your debts to it. So like I feel like that's a good way to track like how you're doing overall financially as well too, and it kind of like shows you on like a kind of like a stock chart, like how your net worth is growing and stuff. So that's I like Mint. But yeah, so number one is make sure you have a good budget. And then we're gonna move into number two, which is avoid unnecessary debt and pay off high interest debt. This is gonna be like the first step to building your net worth, and also just putting yourself in a position to where you're not always, paycheck to paycheck, you maximize your income, because debts that's the easiest way to get a guaranteed return on your money. Because if you're in debt and you have a 10% interest rate, you are guaranteeing every year that you're going to get 10% of your money if you can pay that debt off, in time. But so if you're trying to invest in the stock market on the S&P SPY, every year you average about 7%, right? So if you have a 10% interest on your car note, you actually losing money if you invest the money in the SPY and not paying off your car note. Instead of you just go ahead and pay that car note off, you actually are getting a way better return on your money, getting an extra 3% on it. So
Right.
I think it makes more sense. I'm not talking about like student loan debt or like a mortgage. Like those are things that are like really low interest, like 3%. Like anything in 3% range, 3 to 5%. Like you don't necessarily have to pay that off right away. But anything in double digits, definitely pay that. Like that's the first thing to do.
Oh yeah, that's including credit card debt. That's including personal loans, like all that stuff. Like and one thing
That static trying to come back on you.
yeah, man, they try to work, double try to work. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you
All right, yeah, for
go.
sure. But yeah, like so tackling like credit card debt, like the way they say with your credit cards, right? For example, with your credit cards, they say be under 30%. The usage, that's what they say ideally, but honestly, I feel like that's too high. Think about it. That's 70%. That's 30% of your 100%. That's a big chunk. That's like a third of your. That's
The
like a
sweet
third of
spot
your
is
balance.
actually 1%.
It's really 1%. That's what I was
Yeah,
about to say. It's really 1%. Like, and I didn't know that until I actually and it's easier that way too because you stay under 1%. You're able to easily pay it 1% of, let's say, a $11,000 payment. You can easily pay. You can easily pay $100 off. You see what I'm saying? Like just off of that, and that's like the most important thing. And then also with the debt, like pay everything on time because all that stuff matters. All that stuff goes on your credit, and then
right.
especially when it comes to like if you got anything like collect like some stuff you let stuff sit too long and say oh it's gonna handle itself, that can go to collections, and now you in an even worse spot. Like your credit score can literally drop 100 points just off of having a collections, even if it's a small amount. And I'm
Yep.
saying that off of personal experience because I literally had a collections on mine for some information that was basically mishandled. Um, like I went to a doctor appointment and got a physical done, and then my insurance was up. I had to renew it, but he just told me go ahead, you can go ahead and do it. And then once you get the new insurance, just send me the info for the new insurance, and that way to clear it off. I sent that over, it never got put in, and so then it was like a whole thing there, and I was like, I'm not paying this. So I had that since I was like in college for real. And then finally went to collections like after pretty much like after I graduated and stuff. So it was in collections. Um, and it no matter it stays on there. It can stay on there for about 7 years, but you can dispute it. Like
Hmm.
if you have a legitimate reason, like especially if it's for a reason that like there's several reasons, but personally when it comes to credit, I have the Experian app. So with the Experian app, you can see all three. You get your credit report at three different bureaus. So that's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So you see all those things. Different companies and different collectors pull different, and lenders pull different scores from different bureaus for different reasons. And they'll be close to the number, but it all depends on which one they pull. But when I was on the app, it was so cool with the app because I'm able to lock my credit. So that way, if somebody has my identity or something, they want to do something against my credit, they wouldn't be able to make that transaction. Like I'm able to lock my credit report because I went in to apply for a credit card, right? For example, I went back to apply for a credit card, and my credit was locked. He said, "Oh yeah, your credit frozen." I was like, "Oh my bad, let me unlock it." Like so that way, somebody does a check on your credit, you can hold it down too, like that, and it won't go through. That's how you protect it as well.
Mm,
But it's
I didn't
definitely
know
a
you could
good
do
app.
that.
Yeah, you can do it, bro, and it's definitely key. Like if you know you're not gonna like make any applications for any loans or anything like that no time soon, you can always just
Like
lock your
lock
credit
it, and that
and
and
then
that's pretty
unlock it when
much
you're
like
ready.
helping you from identity theft too.
Right. Exactly.
People trying to do, yeah, bro, that's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely a cool app, and you can see all your credit reports. You can see all the scores, all the collections, everything has been open, closed, all that stuff. So I look at it all the time. Well, I look at it once or twice a month, just to check in on it. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I
But with that
definitely check
collections, my
mine.
credit score will drop down about 100, bro, like 100. But then when I disputed it through Experian, through the app got it knocked off, right, and then it jumped up 120 points. Now
That's
I'm back up.
crazy. That's
Crazy,
crazy.
bro. And
Off of
like so,
one,
cause
off the one thing.
over one thing, you know what I'm saying? And so once you get it knocked off, depending on where you at in the billing cycle and the billing period, it won't show up to the following period or whatever. So you won't
Hold
see
on,
that
bro.
change into the next monthly period.
I'm gonna pause it for 1 second. But yeah, bro. I did not know that you can dispute that stuff like that. Like that's some good information you got right there. We need to definitely, help other people do that for sure. You know, but in the future. But so that was 1 and 2. So number one, budget. Number two, pay off high interest debt. And then number three, start saving consistently. So yeah, to start saving consistently, all you need to do is set a monthly amount that you want to save each month to get you to your goal. So your goal can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses or the total cost of whatever you're saving for. It could be a vacation, a house down payment, a car down payment, but make sure you have a set amount that you're looking to save, because if not, then you're not going to be consistent on doing it. So it has to be a set amount each month or a set percentage each month that you plan on saving. So for instance, I save about 5% each month and put it into a whole separate, savings account that I can't get to directly. That way it's hard for me to, I guess get antsy and want to pull from that. It just automatically goes there. And once it gets to 6 months of expenses, is going to stop. I'm stop saving, because you don't want to save, you don't want to oversave, because the way that they're printing money right now in this state of the economy, your money is actually losing a lot of value right now. You're losing about 4 to 5% each year. It used to be like 2% on inflation, but now it's like 5% just based on how much that they've been printing the money. So your money is actually depreciating when you put it in a savings account, because you only gain like 0.01% interest in your savings account. So
And
don't
4 or 5%.
oversave. Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's
I didn't know
five
that one.
percent now.
Dang.
Like just in the last 2 years.
Oh
That's
yeah, because
because that's because it's the most that they ever printed before, though.
right,
But yeah, in
exactly.
the past it was like two, two at the most, for real.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and so
just
like
just just look at the price of food, bro. Like the price of
yeah,
everything.
everything going up, man. Like you seen that they had made a whole post like the Dollar Tree, like Dollar Tree. None of everything's over $1 now. Gonna be
Yeah,
like $5 now because of
no such
inflation.
thing as Dollar Tree
Like the
anymore.
thing
Yeah.
with Dollar Tree, right? Exactly. Like nothing's the same. Nothing was the
Mhm.
same at all.
Shout out to Drake. But yeah,
Shout out
bro.
to
What's
Drake.
your view on saving?
I kind of agree. I feel like once you have that, like I said, I feel like it really starts with the budget. Because you don't want to forget that where your expenses at and where your money needs to go. But then I feel like it's good once you get that budget. Okay, you say you have a number. Don't let your budget. Don't let your budget direct the goal that you have in mind for saving for something specific,
Hmm.
right? The budget is just to show you where you at right now, right? So don't look at it as okay, I have this much money, I'm spending this much money. I'm only taking home this much money and able to save this much money. Nah, like no, that means now once you look at your budget and see what you actually do are right now, like say if you wanted to save let's say if you want to save $1,000 a month, right? But you only bringing in, you can only your discretionary spending or your discretionary income is only like maybe like 700, 800, whatever that is, right? So it's like, okay, what unnecessary spending, what can I do without for right now to get me to that goal of saving $1,000 a month, right?
Mm.
And then from
So
there,
so it sounds like what you're saying is, instead of adjusting your savings goal on your budget, adjust your budget to match your savings goal. Like pay yourself
yeah,
first, for
right,
real.
You got to pay yourself first. So if you, especially if you know what you want and you know what you want to do, like I feel like that's the most important thing is like know what you want to do with your money. Like if you want to save for a vacation, save for a vacation, right? Do it within your means. If you want to put so much into a trust fund for your kids, put so much into that trust fund every month, or into that Roth, or into that retirement fund, right? Every month. But it's all about what you want to do with your money. Remember, this is your life. This is what you want to do. So you dictate everything. You the master of your fate.
Mm, I
You see
like
what I'm
that.
saying? So you have to be conscious of that, but don't be afraid to set those goals high and try to adjust your budget based on what your savings goal is, because you have to pay yourself first.
Mm,
And then I agree with you what you said on 6 months, because if you're able to live off of, let's say, I gave it 6 months to a year. Like saving for years is it's a lot, but 6 months in 6 months to a year, if you can save that much, really, if anything was to happen, you're good for 6 months. And that 6 months, really, you don't know what's gonna happen in 6 months. You might come back
right,
up in 6 months. You see what
right.
I'm saying? So it's really that's why I agree with you on if you're able to save at least 6 months worth of your like of your living, at least for your rent. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything else falls in place after that, because
Hmm.
it gives you some cushion. You don't want to oversave. You don't want to oversave because that's money that could be going to other investments that could make your money grow even more besides just saving. You know what I'm saying? Because saving is only a one facet of just being able to let your money grow. Like, and it's like the not even like the top five of investments to be able to
Savings
make.
is not an investment.
It's
Saving is
not.
probably the worst thing that you could do for as far as like making your money grow, but it's
Right.
something that you have to do though. It's you need to have a savings, emergency fund, like just in case. Like a lot of people got messed over, when things happened and went down. They did not have that 6 months and people lost their jobs. And now you have to decide on if you're gonna eat tonight or if you want to pay the light bill. Like that's real decisions that people had to make. Like, what are we going to eat? So it's like
And
you
it's
have to
crazy.
have that.
And it's really crazy because um like this, I forgot what the statistic is. I want to say, matter of fact, let me look at it. Because I know it was a very low number, it was a very low percentage that of people that really um don't even have like
Oh yeah, a
five
lot of
hundred
people don't have
dollars
like a thousand.
like
I think I
$1,000.
heard I heard the stat too. It was like only like 15% of people can write a check for $1,000 right now, and
Right,
they clear or something like that.
right.
Let me see what it is. Yeah, that was a
Yeah, that's what
crazy
that's what I'm about
stat.
to look up too, because I can't remember what it was off the gate. It says 63% of Americans. This is from Forbes too. It says 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency.
63%.
63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover $500 emergency.
Okay, so it says just 40%, yeah, of Americans could pay an unexpected $1,000 expense right now.
Right. So that means so 1,000 for 40% to that for $1,000 makes a lot of sense too. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you got it right here, for saying 63%,
And
for
that's
five
and
hundred
that's
dollars.
and that's included having like credit available
Right.
because you can pay a
Right.
$1,000 expense with a credit card.
The credit card. Yeah. Exactly. A lot of people
So
can't
only
even do
forty
that.
percent of people can even do that.
Yeah, man. So that's why it's important, like you said, to tackle the high interest debt, and to really avoid that if you can. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's very
because
key,
it
dog.
really it's really like a trap. Like because once you have a bad credit report, they don't want to offer you any more credit, any more debt. And that just limits what you could do, if you get in a bind. So yeah. So that's the first three: budget, pay off debt, save. All right, now it's about to get interesting. So now we're getting into really growing your money, actively growing, which is one thing that every person needs. We all gonna get old at some point. Everybody needs a retirement plan, whether that be your company's 401k or if you're self-employed. do an IRA, a Roth IRA, pre-tax, after tax. I really don't care which one you do. It's different perks to each one. You have to look into it and see which one fits you. I'm not going to tell you which one to do because I don't know your personal situation at this moment. But if you want to understand it more, we can talk offline with me and Christian. But you need to have a retirement fund of some sort because when you get to the point to where you're not working anymore, the only way that you'll have consistent income is from that retirement fund or through passive investments of some sort, whether that be real estate, stocks, dividends, you know, things like that. So always have that nest egg that's constantly growing. And that's also a tax benefit to it when you have a retirement account because the amount that you contribute to your retirement, they cannot tax that as taxable income on your as far as like on your income tax statement. So say you make $75,000 in a year. If you contribute $5,000 to your 401k, you only get taxed by the IRS for that $70,000, not the other five that you contributed. That's taxed a whole different way in a whole different system. You can divert that tax as well. It's different ways to get around it. So always have a retirement fund. There's multiple benefits to having to it. And if you have an IRA, you can actually use that retirement fund once it gets to a certain amount to buy real estate or to
Yep.
take a loan from it and start a business. You could start a business borrowing from your own 401k.
Yeah, from your 401k or your Roth, right?
Yep. Or your IRA, either one.
Or your IRA, right? And so that's what. And I was actually talking to a older guy, somebody I work with, one of my coworkers, and he was telling me how he lived in LA. He went and he had his 401k, and then he was like, okay, he took out on his 401k, went and got a house, went and put down on the house, right? Then when he put it down in the house, then he was able to take that equity from the house, like when it was time to sell and he had stuff going on, and then sell that, and then he was able to pay because you have to pay interest on it. It's like you taking a loan from yourself essentially. So
Right.
I feel like if there's any loan you want to take and you've
Take
already
it from
started
yourself.
to take it, I'd rather take it from myself than anybody else. Like if I know, especially if the interest then goes back into your 401k or into that retirement fund, so it's like you paying yourself back with interest. So you know what I'm saying? Like having a retirement fund is going to be key. Like especially when they start making moves a little bit earlier than some. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the job and like I know for my company they do company matches with our 401k dollar for dollar up to 4%. You know of your income or whatever you contribute. And then there's this different, and then from there even with the Roth IRA. Um, the 401k, the company gives you a couple of stocks to like kind of choose from, so it's kind of limited. But when you go to a Roth IRA, you can pick whatever, you can use that as your brokerage account and go invest into like S&P
Yep.
and other ETFs, other mutual funds, stuff like that is going
That's
to
what I
grow.
like about the IRA. It's like a lot more flexible,
Yeah,
Like you could be
yeah,
more active in it. The 401k is kind of like just set, you know.
and so in it, honestly, for me, like I feel like you have Robinhood and these things like that of that nature, but there are ultimately, if you want to get started in the stock market, I would honestly see it to be beneficial to do it through your retirement fund, like through a Roth IRA. That
Mm-hmm.
way, you're able to put it into those ETFs, like because there's different types, large cap funds, and market small cap companies, and you wanna, when it comes to distributing your money to a Roth and investing into a Roth and those to the mutual funds with ETFs, you want to go with those things that are most consistent and it's going to see consistent growth. So that's of
Yep.
course going with the Nasdaq, the S&P, and different companies like Walmart, Apple,
Home Depot.
Google.
Yep.
These companies that's going to continue to be here forever. Like they've already been solidified. Coca-Cola,
Mm-hmm.
like those are the companies you want to like invest in when you actually start selecting stuff to do, selecting where you want your money to be contributed to, or what stocks. Because in your retirement fund, you don't want to make too big. You don't want to make risky moves with your retirement fund. If anything, you just want to place that money on somewhere you know going to consistently grow over time. Because automatically having your money in the IRA is going, you're already gaining 7%. having money in the market in the first place, and so that's 7% in addition to whatever whatever gains you get from allocating your funds to different stocks. So there's a certain percentage gain on those gains
Right.
as well, on those funds as well. So, I would suggest if you're going to get into the stock market and you want to like get into it, but you don't want to like, but you don't basically you don't want to make those risky trades. I would say start off with the retirement fund with the Roth IRA, and then just move your money through there and put it into some consistent into some stocks, into some companies that's going to be consistent and show consistent growth. That way, your money is going to be good. And your money is going to always be growing, even when you're not looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And don't just put your money in your, retirement 401k IRA and just, don't understand where it's going. Like understand where your contributions are going. Like what percentage is going to international, what percentage is going to large cap companies, which is,
Mm-hmm.
bigger businesses, or what percentage is going to mid cap or small businesses. Like understand where all that's going, because that's going to affect the growth of your portfolio substantially. Because that was one mistake that I made. Like my first year, I kind of just threw money in there. It wasn't really growing much. I was like, I guess that's how it works. But then I actually started researching retirement funds, like different ways that you could allocate. And then now my portfolio is like doing 10 times better for my retirement. And in your early years, you in your 20s, you in your 30s, like you can withstand a lot more risk than somebody who's getting close to retirement. Like
Right.
you can withstand the ebbs and flows of the market. So don't be afraid to, in that first 10-year window, take a little risk with your retirement, because you can get like 30% gains that's going to compound over years, so that you could be, taking advantage of that and not missing out on those gains. So,
Yeah, man. It's crazy. You just gotta learn the system and everything, bro, and just navigate it.
yep, it's a
Like,
system to everything. All right, so now that you got your budget straight, you paid your debt off, you've been saving, and you got your retirement going. Now it's time for the fun part, and that's actively investing. And the three main investments we're going to talk about today, there's a whole bunch of types of investment, but the three main that you really need to know about is real estate, stocks, and crypto. That's the three big ones right now that are growing at a crazy exponential rate. So I'm gonna
yeah,
let
bro.
Christian speak to it first, man. What's your thoughts on those three?
Honestly, bro, these all three of these things are the essentials, bro. Like personally, um, I feel like when it comes to, I feel like the easiest things as far as being having access to right now, um, would be um really the stocks and the crypto, just because of how easily accessible everything is through apps and stuff like that, like Robinhood, Coinbase, Crypto.com, all these different stock those brokers and stuff that allow you to invest in these different coins and different stocks. Um, so I feel like that's kind of what I first hopped into. Honestly, those are stocks, and then came the foreign exchange, which is a whole nother thing in itself. With and then you got crypto, which falls in line with all those things because I think people think like getting into stocks and crypto and all that stuff is kind of hard. Like when you think about it, it's like a lot of different information. It's like, no, it's not really hard. It's new, something new. So with anything new, you just have to take time to learn about it. And that goes for real estate as well. Um, I think with real estate, there's a little bit more capital that you may need, but there's also ways to get into real estate um, without having any money. Like, so I'll speak on real estate first. So if you don't have any money, right? If you don't have any money on that you can really put down to say buy and fix or buy and flip or buy and rent a home, right? What you could do is wholesale. And so wholesaling essentially is just basically you're essentially the broker. You're the middleman between the buyer and the seller. So as a wholesaler, what you do is you find a property, right? Most times it'll be for sale by the owner, all cash. And most times it'll be what they call a fixer upper. So it still has work that needs to be done. because those are the easiest ones to get off your hands because investors and angel investors are going to be the ones trying to get those type of properties and they're going to have the capital. So most times, so when you go into wholesaling, essentially what it is, you find a seller, somebody that's selling a property. You give them a contract saying, I'm signing this contract to purchase this property for this much, right? So say it's, like say it's 200,000 or $150,000. 1 5 and 0 is the easiest number to work with. So $150,000, right? So I signed that contract saying, yeah, I'm gonna buy this contract for 100. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy this house for $150 on this contract now. It's on paper, right? So now what you do is take that same contract that you promised for 150,000 for 150K, and then you go find a buyer for that property for this contract, and all this will be on the paper. They'll know, okay, this is you're buying this contract for um $1,000. So now that equity, that difference, you get that's $50,000 in your pocket because that will essentially be what is basically like a finder's fee or an activation fee, basically for being the middleman and giving this person his property. So that's essentially how wholesaling works. There's a couple other nooks and crannies. It's too hard. It's just about making sure that all your eyes are dotted and your T's are crossed. Just make sure everybody doesn't know what's going on because when you're doing business, you never know. You never want to know what You never want to not let everybody know what's going on. So that's one way to do it. If you didn't have any money to get into it, and there's YouTube, all the different resources to go look up on how to start wholesaling and stuff like that. And then crypto and stocks, I feel like they're in the same realm, man. You just got the way you look at people don't understand crypto because it's new, but with stocks, you have to understand that those are companies. You see what I'm saying? So the only way you're going to really be able to invest money into a stock is if you understand what that company's value is. The only way you know that company's value is if you do your research on who's in that company, who's the CEO right now. How much revenue are they making, right? What is their potential for growth, based on the product or the service that they provide. So you have to do a little bit of homework. So most people, you don't even need maybe not even 5 solid companies to like research and invest in, you know. But you got your crypto the same way because you got to realize with cryptos, there's somebody that invented these coins. You see what I'm saying? Somebody invented these coins, and there's people that are investing. Okay, look at who's investing in these coins. What the market cap is. In the billions, are they in the billions, are they in the millions, stuff like that. And just see what the potential is because not all people look at everything as a crypto, but not realizing that like Bitcoin and Ethereum are coins, but what their purpose it's 2 different purposes. It's 2 different things, right? Bitcoin is essentially trying to take over for gold and the U.S. dollar, kind of by being that coin that is part of that transaction. Whereas Ethereum is more so and other altcoins will basically be transacted across. You see what I'm saying? So it's like different things, it's different types of knowledge that you have to be able to tap into, to be able to. I'm a big fan. Like I'm still learning, I'm still growing all those different spaces with crypto stocks and real estate, and moving in on a lot of different things for a while. I've been in crypto and stocks for a couple years now. Now I'm about to start making moves in the real estate realm here soon. So, I think it's definitely 2 good avenues for anybody to go into. But I would definitely say, just pick one and just learn about it. See if you like it, get into it, and then keep it going, keep it pushing.
Definitely. But yeah, I just want to say like investing is for everybody. It's not just for people who have a whole bunch of money. It's not for people with, you know, you know, inheritance or a lot of wealth in their family. Like I started out investing like just a couple years ago. Like I literally just started investing like right before the pandemic, which was just a good time to be in the market because things dropped and then you were able to buy things at a discount in the stock market. And then now they're pretty much, a lot of companies are theoretically overvalued, you know. So right now is a good time to, look for some good discounts in the market and just get introduced to it because on average, most stocks, most good companies are going to appreciate over time. Like your Apples, your Microsoft, no matter what, they usually are going to, increase in value. So to have your money in an appreciating asset outside of your savings account, outside of, just paying your expenses off and your retirement, it's good to actively be learning those markets. That way you can capitalize on, things that go on an everyday basis. Like right now, I got Nike on. I'm not sponsored by Nike, but I own part of the company because I own Nike stock. So I don't mind wearing Nike in my videos because I own Nike. I want y'all to wear
Right.
Nike. I want them to keep
Right.
making money. But we go out here and live our life and buy these things, but we don't own any of it. And the stock market now is the place where you can gain that ownership. And I feel like in the culture, we get caught up in trading a lot, trading stocks and, flipping our money in the stock market. But if we hold those assets for, 10 years, even 5 years, even a year, you can earn 40% in a year off of Apple. Just hold it for a year and see what happens. Every year
Exactly.
they drop an iPhone and every year the price go up. So I would say start in the stock market, learn good companies and invest in good companies. And then once you learn the stock market, get into crypto, learn about Bitcoin. What is the blockchain? What is Ethereum? Start with just that. There's so many different avenues to crypto to where you can make just yesterday a coin went up 400%. Like
Yep.
you gotta expose yourself to the information. There's people becoming billionaires overnight. Over a month span, they're becoming billionaires. There's a new millionaire every day in crypto, but you just got to get involved, get your hands in there, and keep learning. And then also
Right.
real estate. That's just the foundation of wealth in America. That's what America
Ownership,
is
man.
built on.
It's land or
Real estate
property.
ownership. You gotta own property in this world. You gotta own land of some sort. No matter what, people are always going to need somewhere to rest their head. And now there's even ways to where you can enter your property into a database to where the government will find somebody to go live in your house for you, and the government will give you a check for them to live in your property.
Exactly. And see, that's part of the game. Some people don't even know. Like there's certain areas in certain like if you look in your city, there's certain area that like for example on the Section 8, right? So if they under Section 8, guess what? Section 8 or Section 8 houses, the government is giving those people checks, right? So if you
Yep.
own that house and it's on Section 8 property, then essentially the government will be giving you a check. Now you have to pay like maintenance fee, property tax, whatever. So whatever tax you have to pay on it. But then you still end up coming out with something in your pocket just by having it because they give you a check. You see what I'm saying? They're giving it to you to put
But
on
yeah,
the house. So if you make a smart investment, right, buy a house at a good rate, they give you a good mortgage. That's below that, or maybe $300-400, whatever, below that that amount of money that the government will be giving for that Section 8 check. Now you got money in your pocket. You see what I'm saying?
yep,
So it's all those little things. Like with real estate, I just learned about. Um, I listened to Early Leisure a while back and learned about taxing. Like people that don't pay their taxes on their house, it can go under auction. And then there's people that's literally buying these houses like this everywhere. Um, for literally like a couple hundred, like either a couple $1,000, like $1,200, $1,400, $1,500. And then depending on what that state's laws is and how they handle their auctions, sometimes you may not even get that property tax that was owed. You might just be able to start it fresh just by paying that $1,500. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
and then you can just go from there. Like now you have properties to mess with. Like,
But yeah,
good. All right.
but yeah, like once you start investing, Now it's time for you to monitor your investments and change your strategies as needed. So understand what's the best investment for you at the moment, because a lot of people, you might not be ready for real estate yet. That takes a team most of the time to have, a contractor, a good real estate agent, be a good property manager, understanding your property and stuff like that. So real estate might not be, for you at this moment. It might be something that you can do down the line once you build your team, get your network together. But something that, is easy for everybody to get into right now is stocks, and understand how to manage your portfolio. That way you don't have to pay all those fees to get an advisor and all these other people to manage it for you. You can invest in yourself as far as like getting the basic understanding, or join like a team or a group, an investment group where y'all talk about different stocks and things like that. But you don't want to be paying that consistent fee all the time of like somebody actively managing your portfolio for you, because now it's way easier for you to do that yourself these days. You don't need to do that. And I wouldn't advise somebody to do that at this moment. But yeah, just understanding like the difference between you buying a stock for a short-term time and buying a stock for a long-term time, and being able to maneuver that portfolio around and to keep it in a growth stage is important.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing about monitoring your, your investments. Don't sit there and watch the clock. Like, don't sit there and just watch your money every single day. Like, once you make that investment, check it, every couple weeks. Every once or twice or three times a month. You don't have to look at it every single day, because then that's a mind game. It's really a psychology when it comes to investing too. Just trusting your investments and letting it work, and holding is probably one of the hardest parts. So, just make
Yeah.
sure that
On
you
those
know you're
red
not.
days, yeah, on those red days, you got to be able to withstand those emotions,
Yeah.
because that's one thing, as a new investor, that's something that you're going to have to deal with, which is something that I've been learning to master, which is emotional intelligence just in life in general, because we react to things instead of expecting things and capitalizing on them. Just think about every time if you bought more of that stock when that stock dipped. You know Apple is a good company. So why are you nervous whenever they have a bad day? Everybody has a bad day. But
Mhm.
10 years from now, we're gonna be still having iPhones. We might have Apple glasses on, we might have an Apple projector in our hand. The companies that are going to be big in the future are the companies with the most money, and Apple is the company with the most cash at hand right now.
Right.
Apple and Microsoft, so they're going to be fine regardless.
Mhm.
So don't let one bad red day and let one news feed or one Twitter post cause you to sell your whole portfolio at a lower price than what you bought it for. So now you just giving the market your money. Think about that. You bought something at a higher price and sold it at a lower price because you were scared.
Mhm.
What kind of investment strategy is that? What was the point of even
Yeah.
putting the money in there?
Gotta buy low and sell high.
Yes, that's the
Buy low
whole
and sell high.
way the market work. But that's why they kind of want the average Joe to go get in the market now, and then
Mhm.
the way information is so widely available now, they can just drop one article, boom, like China
Mhm.
bans this, and now
Mhm.
the market has one bad day. Now everybody's selling all their stocks, and they just
Right.
constantly buying them all. They buying them all back, boom, at low
Right.
prices, and that's how they get us,
Yeah,
because we
that's how they
don't we
make the
don't look
market
deeper
move.
into things. We don't try to understand it. Yeah,
That's why it's important to learn and research, and just that's why you gotta monitor and research and just stay on top of things, and just
right,
continuously learn from other people. Like, so you have to seek advice. Don't go off your own advice. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? You have to be able to
Get
tap
with a
into a
group.
network of people. Like, get with a group. A group is going to be essential. Like a good group of people that's going to be on the same wave as you. They're trying to be just as committed to it as you. Um, and then they also have a plethora of knowledge that in certain areas that you may not have. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're going to be able to continuously learn. My goal is to not be the smartest person in the room.
No, you do not want to be the smartest person in the
You
room.
do not want to be the smartest
You're in the
person in the room.
wrong
Because if you're the
room.
smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's
And you
actually
probably get up
something
out of
I'm going
there.
to be releasing soon. Just be on lookout. I will be starting a Discord channel, well, where we'll be, putting in resources for stocks, crypto, real estate market, anything personal finance and finance wise will be in there. And just be on the lookout for it. I'll put the link in the bio and just tap in with us. It's completely free for now. So just tap in.
Right. Tap in while you can.
You feel me? All right. So now, yeah, like we said, monitor. Then next thing is seek advice and be consistent, which is something we kind of touched on. So that's getting with a team, getting with a group of like-minded people, someone who knows more than you. Like I have multiple mentors in all different spaces, and there's nothing wrong with investing in someone else's knowledge. That way, you don't have to make the same mistakes on the back end that they already made. You can learn from the mistakes of somebody else and propel yourself forward to where they currently are in like a way shorter amount of time. But everybody wants to be compensated, like, and they rightfully so. They should be compensated. They shouldn't just give away their experience for free because they had to go through that. So the least you could do is compensate them for telling you about their experience and how you can avoid that, because there's there's a path to getting to wealth and there's obstacles. But if they can tell you, what mile marker the obstacle is coming up at before you even get there, you might be like, all right, let me take this other, detour before I get to this traffic, and I have to sit in traffic for, 5 months because I made a messed up mistake that I could have avoided, you know.
Yeah,
So
because
it's like,
ultimately what they're doing is saving you a lot
right,
of pain and a lot of time, or a lot of wasted time. So
yep,
it's like if that's what they're doing for you, then um you should not feel worried or anything about being able to spend some cash for. You spent $100 on a bottle of whatever, a bottle of Douce or a bottle of Henny, a bottle of whatever on the weekend anyway.
mm-hmm.
You spend $300 on the weekend for a section. You know what I'm saying, at the club anyway. Why not why not put that money into something that's going to actually help you grow as a person, and that and help and eventually grow your finances down the line.
Yep,
So got to be consistent, but also you got to be consistent with it. With all these things that we're talking about right now, it's key to just be consistent with all of it. Are you gonna have, like you said, we just like the market, we're gonna have ups and downs. We have good days, bad days, but you just have to know that even on those bad days, eventually you have a good day, you're gonna be back up. So you have to approach life like that. You have to approach your goals. You have to approach everything that you do like that. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. The only person I know that was perfect was Jesus. He walked on water and turned water to wine and fed a thousand with a loaf of bread. I can't do that. So that's the whole reason that we're here. He knows that we're not perfect. We know we're not perfect. So it's just like, if you already know that, then what's the fear then? What's holding you back from just doing it and learning and just taking it a step at a time? You feel me?
exactly.
So
But yeah, the very last thing is just maintain your assets. That means actually take care of it. If you drive your car every day, make sure that keeping it up, keeping it clean, keeping it running good, getting your tires rotated, oil changed, taking it to the garage, because your car is a part of your net worth. Like that's a different type of asset that you have. Maintain your real estate properties. Like make sure you're not letting mold just grow up in there. Like take care of it. Go monitor it. Get inspections done periodically. Go look at it. Um, Look at your stock portfolio. Are you in companies that are going to be benefiting in the next, 4 or 5 years? Are you in growth companies? Like, is your portfolio performing how you want it to? Or is crypto a good investment right now? Is it time for you to pull out for a second and look at other coins, or you know just always maintain your assets and periodically check them at least once a quarter. Just do an evaluation on how your portfolio has been doing overall, and I think you'll be fine. So yeah, that was all 10, bro. So I'm gonna go over them real quick. So number one is your budget. Number two, pay off any debt or high interest debt that you have. Specifically, consistently save, ideally up to 6 months of expenses. Set up a retirement account. That's very key. Invest actively in the three main asset classes, which is real estate, stocks, and crypto right now. Number six, monitor and strategize accordingly based on the performance. Seek advice is number seven. Be consistent. Number eight, invest in your knowledge and other people's lessons is number nine. And then maintain your assets in a good state. So, yeah, that's all I got, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of wealth. That's a wealth of knowledge right there that we just dropping. That's just what we broke on the surface. That's just the surface of everything. As we, like I said, as we continue to go on, we're gonna start diving deeper and deeper into a lot of this stuff. Because, like we said, as we're doing this stuff and as we giving the knowledge, we're learning it. So, we're not gonna be sitting here giving out something that we haven't even actually tapped to ourselves. Like, because at the end of the day, we're also trying to progress. Not trying to, but we also are progressing. We are progressing
Mm-hmm.
as we speak. So all we're doing is reaching the hand back and pulling you guys, those people listening, up with us by dropping some gems that hopefully it'll stick to your mind and hopefully get you to that next step and past that obstacle that you've been trying to get past, for who
Mm-hmm.
knows how long, to push yourself to the next level. So, it's a blessing. So thank you, my man, again for having me
Yes,
on.
sir, man.
Thank you again for us doing this. I feel like a lot of great things are going. We just did that uh, radio show, which was a big move.
That was huge.
That was
Thank you to
huge.
Dr. Sewell for having us on. If you're
Yep,
listening,
yep. Wellness Enclave 22.3.
yep.
What was that
And
in
thank you so
Vegas?
much to my Auntie Valerie, for setting it up for us, getting us connected. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Great things happen when you put yourself out there. You never know. It could be somebody in your family that's connected with someone who might be on the same thing you on.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
What I'm saying? So that's why you got to keep doing what you do every day
yeah,
and keep
but
putting your
they'll
best
never
foot
know.
forward.
If you keep your
Just keep
mouth
putting
shut,
your
they'll
best.
never know.
Oh yeah. So the good things happening will happen in due time. Just keep pushing forward, bro.
But nah, keep putting that work in, man. We gonna get it. Y'all have a good night.